Picture the powerful world elite coming together, creating a secret group that's conspiring to take over the world. This secret group eventually comes up with a plan that would affect the world and everybody in it. They decide that the only way they can fix the world is by rebuilding it. But in order to rebuild it, they must first destroy it. And these elite do just that by causing the nuclear apocalypse. If you're asking, this is the storyline of the new Fallout TV series. But why does it seem like this show might be foreshadowing a near-distant future? Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos every other day exposing the truth. In today's episode, we will be talking about the new Fallout TV show. But before we begin, I just wanted to let my patrons know, I just dropped a new Patreon exclusive about the Elite and the Great War. This video actually connects to this one about Fallout, so if you haven't seen that one yet, make sure you watch it after this one. Thank you all, now let's get right into it. Fallout is one of the most popular shows out right now. If you have been on TikTok or Instagram in recent days, chances are you most likely have seen a clip of the show or have even watched it. Many people are talking about this show for many reasons, as it has a very interesting storyline. Taco brought this show up to me first telling me that I had to watch it, and then D requested I check it out and make a video about it as well. I checked out the show. It is interesting, but is also full of hidden messages that can't be missed. In today's episode, I will be breaking down the show and exposing its hidden meaning. I want to warn you, there's gonna be spoilers ahead. The Fallout TV show is an adaptation of the Fallout games. The show takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where most of the surviving population live in massive underground bunkers called vaults. The show tells the story of a woman named Lucy who was born and lives in Vault 33, 219 years after the apocalypse happened in 2077. The vaults the people live in were created by a company named Vault-Tec. Before the apocalypse happened, Vault-Tec created over 100 city-sized underground vaults around the country. They then pre-selected people to give a spot in the vault to. Vault-Tec wasn't only responsible for creating the vaults, as they were also behind the nuclear war that caused the apocalypse. See, Vault-Tec was a company controlled by a secret organization, and it had the world elite billionaires invested in it. Those at Vault-Tec decided that they didn't like the way the world was going, so they came up with a plan to change it. They felt that the best way to fix the world was to restart it and build a new world. The only way that they can achieve this was by destroying the world. Vault-Tec came up with a plan to secretly start the nuclear apocalypse. They then started building these massive vaults that would protect the last people of the world who were chosen to live in them. Vault-Tec also allowed the billionaires who invested in these vaults to design their vault society. They were to choose how life would be for residents living in the vault. The plans of Vault-Tec was to watch over all the vaults to see which vault had the best society to rebuild the world. These vaults will be examined for years, and the vault with the best society will be chosen to then repopulate the world when the radiation goes away. After Vault-Tec finished building their bunkers, they caused the nuclear apocalypse and destroyed the world. Those who were chosen to live in a vault rushed to them, and life underground began. The show is mostly set 219 years after the apocalypse and follows the story of Lucy, who is one of the daughters of the leader of Vault 33. Her father gets kidnapped by Vault Raiders, and she spends the rest of the show trying to rescue him. Now, this is only a basic overview of the show, as I didn't want to ruin it for those who are considering watching it. This show has so much hidden meaning in it, and I'm going to break it all down. A few things stuck out to me immediately about this show. The first thing that was a nod to the Masons was the story taking place in Vault 33. Vault 33 is considered to be the greatest vault out of all of them. In fact, it was Vault 31, 32, and 33, which were considered the best vaults. This is very interesting, as we know those are the last 3 degrees in Scottish Rite Freemasonry. And these 3 degrees is where a Mason unlocks the secret truth about the craft and is considered ascended. We see Lucy wearing the 33rd degree jacket. This is openly referring to the 33rd degree in Masonry. It's the reason why the best vault was Vault 33, because the highest degree in Masonry is the 33rd degree. There's also another scene in one of the episodes that literally shows a full-on ritual. In this scene, they show a group of survivors performing a ritual where they rub ashes on their heads, then strip themselves of their clothes and share a bowl of blood. Right in the middle of the show, they place this pointless ritual to further show us that this entire show is based on the occult. In the world of Fallout, there's also a secret group called the Enclave, and they're the ones secretly working towards recreating the world. They are the ones pulling the strings behind the scenes when it comes to Vault-Tec. They planned a great war in the show that leads to the apocalypse. This enclave group is meant to represent the Freemasons. The Masonic references go way past just symbolism in this show. If you have been watching my last few videos, you might have heard me talking about my Patreon exclusive about the Freemasons and the Great War. That video is all about the Masonic plans for a new world order. This TV show is about the very same thing, and it seems to foreshadow what they have planned. The show Fallout is all about the elite's plans for the New World Order. The elite who are a part of Vault-Tec are meant to represent the Masonic leaders of our world. No matter what country you look into, you will discover that the Masons have all positions of power in every country. My mother and father are Dominican, and they wanted to know if the Masons control DR like they control America. When I looked into it, not only do they control the country, but they are the ones that build it, as the Dominican founding fathers are all Freemasons. I then got curious and I wanted to see if it was the same in Puerto Rico. What I discovered was that Masonry was also big on the island, with Masonry being brought over by Dominicans. All world leaders are a part of the Freemasons no matter where you go. All these Masons from around the world all have the same goal, establishing the new Masonic world order, a world that they are planning on rebuilding from the ashes of the old world. One Freemason who often talked about the New World Order was the Masonic leader Albert Pike. If you saw my recent Patreon video, you would know that he spoke about 3 great wars that needed to happen in order for the Masons to be able to establish the New World Order. Many people have been researching into what Albert Pike stated and have determined that the first 2 wars Pike is referring to have already taken place, with World War I and World War II. Now, the 3rd Great War is what the Fallout TV show seems to be foreshadowing. Just like in the Fallout show, Albert Pike made it clear that the members of the Illuminati, which is a part of Masonry, are behind destroying the world and rebuilding the New World Order. This is literally the entire plot of the Fallout TV show and game. Many people believe that this 3rd war Albert Pike was referring to was more than likely going to be a nuclear war. A great war that Albert Pike suggested will wipe the world clean. Just like in the Fallout show, the Enclave is trying to establish a new world order. Albert Pike makes it clear that the Masons are trying to do the same. One thing that I found interesting in this show was the elite invented ways to live forever, just like the billionaires of our world have been trying to achieve for years now. In the Fallout show, the elite discover a way to live forever in order to survive the apocalypse and be able to rule the world once they leave the vaults. In the real world, you can find many articles that talk about the billionaire elite who are racing to find a solution for death. What's really ironic about this is that the Fallout show was actually made by Amazon. Amazon that was created by the billionaire Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos himself just so happens to be one of the billionaire elite that is investing in companies trying to achieve immortality. He and many other billionaires invested in a company called Altus Lab, which is attempting to reverse the aging process to extend life. Is this just another instance of life imitating art, or is art imitating life? The whole concept of living in bunkers after an apocalyptic nuclear war taking place is not new at all, as movies like Beyond the Time Barrier, George Orwell's 1984, or even Metropolis show the same plotline. Many movies that seem to tell us a very similar story. Even the TV show American Horror Story Apocalypse was literally the same story as the one shown in Fallout. A secret organization builds bunkers around the country and then causes a nuclear apocalypse to wipe out the world. The people in the bunker must survive to repopulate the world and create the new world order. The only difference with the story of American Horror Story was that the Antichrist himself was leading the secret group behind the apocalypse.
Named members of the cooperative, world leaders, tech giants, media moguls, cultural influencers. The rumors you've heard are true. My name is Michael Langdon, and I am the Antichrist. Humanity is at a crossroad. The world as it is today, poverty, the hunger, the greed, and war. It's no longer sustainable. The time has come to wipe the slate clean. Friends, it's time for the apocalypse. I understand your trepidation, but let me remind you, you are here because of the gifts bestowed upon you by my father. In return, you gave him your immortal souls. He owns you. Therefore, I own you. We speak with one voice. My demands are his. Now, as you'll see from the handy guide provided by my associate, I do not intend to leave you and your families to die. When fire rains down the unwashed masses, you and your families will be safely squirreled away in a network of luxury fallout shelters. You already have the resources. You just bought land on New Zealand's South Island. You just bought land on New Zealand's South Island. You own half of Bora Bora. The bunker underneath your ranch in Texas can easily fit 20 people. With a little construction and some retrofitting, his sites will make the perfect outpost to ride out the end of the world. And with the admission price of $100 million, only the worthy will gain admission.
What's eerie about all of this is that last year, we saw many of the billionaire elites like Mark Zuckerberg start building massive underground bunkers. Mark's bunker was like its own little city and had everything he needed in it to survive the apocalypse. This news surfaced not long after the popular Netflix movie Leave the World Behind was released that spooked many people for a good reason. The movie that was produced by former President Barack Obama was again about a nuclear war that brings forth the apocalypse. The movie ends with one of the characters finding an underground bunker for safety. In that movie, there's a scene where one of the characters admit the elite of our world knew about the coming apocalypse before it happened.
One of my clients invited me and my wife to a private event. My client, well, I won't say his name, but you'd recognize it though.
Is he a celebrity?
No, nothing like that. But in the business world, he's one of the biggest out there. So he takes me to his study. Eventually he starts in how much he likes me and how he wishes he could invite me on this trip he's about to go on.
What kind of, where's he going?
That's exactly what I asked. And he turns to me, a serious face, and he says, oh, just my annual meeting with the rest of the evil cabal that runs the world. My friend calls me up. No scheduled appointment like he usually does, just calls me out of the blue and wants me to move around some of his money. And we're talking some big numbers even for him. And as we're getting off the phone, I ask if he wants to grab a drink. He tells me he's going away for a while. I joke back to him, oh yeah, you hanging with your evil cabal this weekend? That was only during the winter solstice. And he doesn't laugh. And he always laughs, even with bad jokes. All he said was, take care of yourself. Almost as if he felt sorry for me. Conspiracy theory about a shot of big people in the world is far too lazy of an explanation, especially when the truth is much scarier. No one is in control.
As you saw for yourself, he again admits that the elite knew this nuclear war was coming beforehand because they were the ones behind it. In all of these movies and TV shows, we see the same theme. A group of elites come up with a plan to rebuild society by ending it with a nuclear war. This just so happens to be the same plans Albert Pike wrote about back in the 1880s. Is it just a coincidence that these movies all share the same plot? Or are they showing us what Albert Pike had planned? To me, it's obvious the Fallout show was just more Masonic propaganda, foreshadowing their plans. The Masons have been working on establishing this New World Order since they were known as the Knights Templars. And they have been leaving us clues about the New World Order for years. They put the symbol of the New World Order on the back of the dollar bill. On the back of the dollar bill, we can find the symbol we all know as the all-seeing eye. In Masonry, the symbol is seen as the Eye of Providence, also called the All-Seeing Eye, or the Eye of Horus, and it's a symbol dating back to ancient Egyptians. In Egyptian culture, the eye was a symbol of royal power, protection, and good health. It also referred to the Eye of Ra, another Egyptian god. Under the All-Seeing Eye, we see this writing in Latin that states Novus Ordo Seclorum, which translates to New Order of the Ages. So under this pyramid on the back of the dollar bill that represents Horus, the Egyptian sun god, they placed this writing that talks about the new order of the ages. If you look at the pyramid, it was purposely made unfinished, with the top of the pyramid being detached. This is because their new world order hadn't been established yet. The plans for their future hadn't been achieved. The unfinished pyramid represents the fact that they're still building their new world order. This is something that those behind designing the bill admit themselves. According to the National Institute of Environmental Health Science, it is believed the pyramid symbolizes that at the time, the country was still growing. But what they were really referring to was that they were still establishing their new world order of the Age of Horus. The all-seeing eye symbol represents the Age of Horus. See, Horus only had one eye, as he was injured in a battle that left him only with one eye. This is why the one-eye symbolism represents Horus. The pyramid over the eye represents Horus's empire, represented by the Egyptian pyramids, as Horus was the main god in the Egyptian religion. This is why under the Egyptian pyramid on the dollar bill, they wrote the New Order of the Ages in Latin. Now we know what the symbol means, but who chose to put it on the back of the dollar bill? The original committee behind the seal were the founding fathers themselves, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams, who are all confirmed Freemasons. However, the idea to put the Masonic all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar bill didn't come from the founding fathers, at least not directly, as it was documented that it was actually suggested by a man named Pierre Nugent. Pierre was most likely an occultist, as he was confirmed to have been a part of Benjamin Franklin's Philosophical Society. He was close to Benjamin, and he could have been told to add the symbol by him directly off the record. Although the founding fathers didn't quote-unquote suggest the unfinished pyramid, they were 100% behind the all-seeing eye being on the capstone, which we all know is a symbol of the god Horus. the God that the Masonic order is referring to when they claim their nation is under God. This proves that the Masons have their hands behind putting the symbol on the dollar bill that we know represents the New World Order. This is the Masons' true goal, to establish the New World Order under the doctrine of Lucifer, just like Albert Pike states. This is exactly what this Fallout show is about. I want to know what you guys thought about the show. Let me know your thoughts below. Well, that's it for this one, but before you guys go, make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so that it'll be recommended to others. If you want to watch the Patreon exclusive that connects to this video, you can become a member for $3. When you join my Patreon, you also get access to over 25 exclusive Patreon videos that are available to you instantly. I will leave a link to my Patreon in the comments and in the description of this video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.